And from here, I'm excited to take you on a journey to the next island, and that would be actually a Greek island, because we're going to hear from Sappho. Dirk Petersen is going to read from Sappho. And Dirk Petersen was born and raised in the high desert of western Colorado, where he spent much of his time looking after mules on his parents' hobby farm. A love of languages and poetry conspired with happenstance during Dirk's college days, and he found himself pursuing a major in classical languages with an emphasis on Greek lyric poetry. Pindar may often strong-arm his way in, but Sappho will always have Dirk's heart. Sappho was a Greek lyric poet active in the 6th century before Christ. She hailed from the island of Lesbos, though some of her life was spent in political exile in Sicily, which was then a part of Magna Graecia. She was categorized by Hellenistic-era scholars as one of the 9 great lyric poets of antiquity, and was the only woman among that group. Sappho's work speaks often of passion, infatuation, and love amongst the sexes, and several surviving fragments also speak of the pain of separation experienced by female companions due to patrilocal marriage practices. Though her poetry survives almost exclusively in fragments, representing only a tiny fraction of her opus, her importance and influence nonetheless continue to resonate today. Please welcome her.
Thank you very much. Very exciting to be here and part of this event. And so Pindar does sometimes try to strong arm his way in. Sappho is definitely the one. So I'm actually going to read most of the Greek for these pieces, just because I don't know, I sort of want to get a sense of the rhythm. I'm not completely expert at that. I once went to a conference and there was someone who sort of had made a career of dressing sort of in a robe. He had a staff. He was dressed like an ancient bard, and he would sort of declaim things sort of in restored pronunciation, which actually apparently was quite slow. And so you would hear someone sort of being like, "Ergo mai tips atreude spos," and sort of like 5 minutes later, the translator would be like, "And Achilles turned to him and said," "I wonder the Trojan War took 10 years, am I right?" So, anyway, another just like a little thing about Sappho, real quick. So the 9 lyric poets, like the great 9 lyric poets, 8 of them were men. Sappho was the only woman among that group. The males, especially people like Pindar, were really interested in politics and mythology, and sort of there was an I present, there was a lyric I present, but it was not something that was involved with sort of the emotions, the experience of the poem, and there was not like an interest in sort of the emotional life of that I. It sort of was an I almost functioning as the third narrator of events. So Sappho was very different, very sort of revolutionary in her milieu for being very concerned with both the feelings and experience of the I as well as sort of the female experience. So digging into that, this is fragment 47 of Sappho. Eros deimitax semoi frenas, hos animos cat oros drusin impeton. Eros shook my mind, like a wind down a mountain crashing on the oaks. Excuse me, this is fragment 130. Eros deute meolusimeles donne, glucopicron amakanon orteton. Again, Eros, the limb loosener, buffets me, sweetly bitter, invincible sneak. This is fragment 48. El desebor desemaioman, on dipsuxas eman frena kaumenan potoi. You arrived and I, mad for you, and you cooled my mind, burning with longing. 132, this is one about sort of the experience of affection for a daughter, which was extremely rare in the corpus of that word. So, este moi kala pais crucioisen antemosin, imperum equisa morphon clays agapata. Antitas ego de Lydian paisanude erana. I have a beautiful child who has a form like golden flowers. Dearest Claes, in her stead I would not all of Lydia nor longed for. And 102. Glucia mater utoe dunamai crec conton iston potoi dames apairos bradinan di Aphroditon. Sweet mother, no longer am I able to pluck the loom. I am wrecked with longing for a boy by slender Aphrodite. 115. Tiois soe pile gambre kalos ikaisdo. Orpaki bradinois e malist ekaisdo. To what, O dear groom, do I rightly compare you? To a slender sapling I most compare you. And this one is one that some of my peers here have heard before, fragment 114. Parthenia, Parthenia, poeme lipoisa oike, uceti exo prose, uceti exo. Maidenhood, maidenhood, where did you go abandoning me? No longer shall I come to you, no longer shall I come. Al eon pilos amilekos arnuse neoteron, ugar plasum ego sum toiken eois ageraitera. But since you are beloved to us, choose a younger bed, for I cannot bear to live with you and be the older one. And then there's a little journey to the underworld that's about to happen. 114. Kaps naske kyterei, abros adonis, tike daemon, katuteste korai, katerexte kytonas. He is dying, Cytherea, delicate Adonis. What should we do? Strike yourselves, girls, and rend your clothes. And it's worth saying that Cytherea is one of the many names for Aphrodite. And so now we're on to 55. Kathanois de Caesea pota, cum namnosa seten, esse tutte ut usterum, ugar pederex brodon, tonac pierias ala apanes cain aeda domos, poetases pedam aura necuon ec peptomina. Down in death you will lie, and not ever memory of you will there be, nor desire in another time. For you do not share in the roses of Pieria, but invisible even in the house of Hades, you will wander your way amongst shadowed shapes, fled of breath. And so this last one is one of her more famous fragments, and I've actually just excerpted 3 of the most complete stanzas from the fragment. So when you see a manuscript of Sappho, there'll be all these little brackets, and sort of just like little hash marks. And so literally what that means is that there's a papyrus that's been recovered that's just sort of shredded. And so you can almost trace the shape of the papyrus by looking where there's actually bits of text and where there are gaps. And so sometimes you'll see a Sappho fragment that literally just has you, stem root, go, stem root, mind, tree, yellow. And it was very influential in some people in the 20th century sort of thinking about ways to compose their work. But it is also interesting to note that those would have been very complete, very structured, sort of full stanzas. So I don't know, the vagaries of time maybe were a fortunate thing in some cases, and quite tragic in others. So fragment 94. Tetnaken adolos telo, ame psis domena catelimpanen, pola cato de pemon, oem os dena pepontamen, psa, eman se kes apulimpano, tan derotad ame bonan, kairos erkeo kameten, memnais oistagar hos se peropemen. I wish truly to be dead. She left me behind weeping greatly, and said this to me. Oh, how we have suffered terrible things, Sappho. Indeed, I forsake you unwillingly. And I answered her, go rejoicing and thinking of me, for you know how we adored you. And I'll stop there. Thank you very much.